And then at this event, when you observe them, I know like two or three other players like are from Sao Paulo, so they were like staying at home. They weren't staying at the hotel with the team. They were staying with family. I know, after matches in the group stage, they would walk out of the venue and, they immediately would be like, off to the side away from the team with their girlfriends. And I think more than anything, being at home, I think they were just distracted. I think they were all happy to be home, happy to be seeing friends, happy to be seeing family. And even outside of that, I don't think they were 100% focused on the game.
So basically, Moses, you're blaming their girlfriends and friends and family for them losing the final of Sao Paulo.
No, I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying this is a distraction they had at the event. I don't think that's obviously they have to play the games. They still played well and they got beat by Cloud9, but I think it's very different from seeing them at an event where when they lose, they're all huddled up talking about the game for the first 30 minutes. Okay. And this time they weren't like going outside and talking about what happened in the game. It just seemed like they were very much disconnected, especially when you're at home. Like when you go home instead of going to the hotel with your team, that's not like a professional environment. That's not the most conducive to being successful.
I hate that. I hate it when people I hated it when like teammates of mine or like I saw players from other teams like, oh yeah, we're going to this new city. I've never been there, so I'm gonna bring my girlfriend. It's like, fuck off. You're here for work. You're here to play a tournament.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. Like, bang before you go to the tournament. Bang when you get home. Like, done. Like, I don't understand. Like, you don't need to bang when you're there. Like.
You don't need to bang when you're there. There's the title. So there we go. Write that one down, Moses. Okay.
And we built a culture there that we're going to break big stories. That's why it was the #1 website for, a year minimum. It was the place to go if you wanted to break news and stories. And people forget, it's not just about the match fixing thing. Think about fucking Big Sorry. Think about Magic Amy. Think about all the shit Jacob Wolf did. We had some mad, crazy stories come out of that daily dot, and that was based on the fact that they saw the value that what generated the traffic was breaking and digging the news. And I think it would be the same. If you broke a few big stories on a blog, I think people come and they offer you a job. I see DK, for his example, who was effectively just a Twitter journalist and a guy who literally only came in because that CSGO news guy tried to frame Mo for having an affair or something ridiculous like that. And you can't even make this shit up.
That was funny as fuck.
You can't even make this shit up, can you? Hi, everyone. I'm CSGO News. Here's some lookalikes that don't look like anyone. Here's some lookalikes who literally don't look like anyone. And by the way, Mo said something bad about me, so I have framed him for having an affair. This is insane. This is the level. So DK came in and went, yeah, this guy's a bit of a retard, actually. Why don't we get some real news and do it? And now that guy's stupidity enabled him to have a career. And now he's been published as an actual writer and not just some guy on Twitter or a YouTuber.
For me, I guess I haven't had very much success on Reddit at all ever unless like Thorin puts it up and then everyone thinks it's Thorin's article and then they upvote it. But what I did is I sent Wallaby Beetle made a video once talking about what he called the uncertainty era and this new era that they're going in Counter-Strike. And I found it interesting. He was trying to figure out what to name it. And I had written an article a while ago that had named it. So I just sent him the article and I was like, hey, I did this. And then he was kind enough to retweet it. And then that's how I got my first tiny fraction of traction. So, yeah.
Okay. Shit went viral. It was absolutely popping off. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know the context, by the way, that is actually the most fucking maudlin Dickensian story ever, Flame, because the person he's talking about, Wallaby Beetle, himself probably has 1,000 Twitter followers. So his approach, right, wasn't even, he wasn't like when Bruce Springsteen picks out Courtney Cox out of that music video. His was like an unknown guy in a bar who's on an open mic night, picks out an even more unknown guy and helps him out. That is so fucking ghetto. It's unreal. Okay, fair enough. It worked. It worked, mate. You're here. So it worked.
It can't be a thing any longer. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a coaching thing. I don't know if it's a personality thing among the players. I don't know if they need to bring in some kind of crazy, super expensive sports psychologist and just sit everyone down. But they have real issues with their ability to have confidence in themselves. And that is the thing holding them back more than tactics, more than individual ability, more than any boot camp. It is the fact that they just don't have confidence in themselves. And it's very apparent when you talk to them outside of the games. It's very apparent when you listen, when you read what they say in interviews or when you hear their interviews. This is an issue for Team Liquid. And until they solve it, they are not going to be good.
Yeah, I think they all just need to honestly just DM for like 10 hours a day before a big tournament, do a couple uppers, and then just like show up just completely hyped out of their minds. And then and at that point, you just like
CPL 2003. I think we saw this before Moses. Yeah, go back to the old NA strat. Exactly.
Good old Crystal Met Squad. Let's go.
Yeah, just go full autopilot, just run and aim it, no brain, and it's just like, okay, that's you can have confidence in that a little bit. And just
instead of like Karate Kid learning from like some Mr. Miyagi, like wise Japanese guy, instead you just go to some old school SoCal Pog player and you just say to him, how do I learn the secret? He's like, right, first of all, here's your medicine. Right, there you go. Now get in DM for 5 hours. After that, we're playing Astralis. Right? Fucking hell. Give me a break.
I thought where Moses was going to go was like in 3 to 5 years, we would talk about. I think it's just going to get more centralized. Like, I think that the leagues, since leagues are kind of taking over, maybe seasons will be a little bit longer and they're more in one area. Because right now, their schedule resembles a rock star. It's flying all the time. But rock stars are touring for, maybe 4 months out of a year or something like that. And then they can be home for 8 months and just kind of work on their craft, work on their music or whatever. They don't have to actually do anything else. With gaming and esports, you have to travel so much that, there's going to be burnout. You have to fly all the time. You have to perform mechanically at a level that I'd say is higher than rock stars. Like, rock stars kind of know the notes they're going to play. They know what they're going to sing. Maybe it's tough on their throats, but like, there's not too many professions right now where you have to be like this mechanically strong at like,
just avoid all. Yeah, I'm just avoiding all temptation to make a childish joke about Shazam or something. You knew where I was going, Moses. I've been in too many green rooms now, mate. Keep going.
Okay, yeah.
Why? I always think to myself, people, like I saw that tweet the other day from Bobski where he was sort of saying like, oh, like I wish it was like League of Legends where Riot was like controlling everything. I was like, homie, you don't know what you are asking for, because put it this way, just to give an example, if Starix was in League of Legends and he just came out like, you know what, I think that guy who won the World Championship probably cheated. There's loads of cheaters in the scene. Fuck Valve. Like, mate, everyone would be banned. Like, we'd all just be banned at that point in time. We'd all be toxic and banned. Like, it'd be over.
Valve does let us get away with a lot of criticism on them, don't I? We could say some pretty wild shit.
When Too Good got fired from that major, I was even memeing on Gabe Newell, sort of like daring him to ban me, because listen, I look back and go, not really a joke here. You don't really pull the trigger on. That's the one you think of, or you tell someone in a green room. You don't pull the trigger on it, do you? But
no.
Back then, to be fair, Moses, I didn't have safety lock on the trigger on Twitter, believe it or not. They were all live rounds I was shooting.
Jason not reached you with wait, sleep on it strategy yet?
Well, no, the sad thing is...
I've tried.
Listen, I'll actually just say this right now, but I'll keep it vague enough that, in theory, we've got plausible deniability. All I'm going to say is, probably one of the dumbest tweets I ever did do. The thing that makes me regret it extra, I regret it already for the context of what I did, but the thing I regret more is actually Moses was sat next to me. And he just said, as I was about to hit send, he just goes, just maybe think about it for half an hour. And I was like, nah, I'm pretty sure I'll be fine, Moses. And so then obviously, when the world ended, I was sort of looking over like, I can't even say shit to this man, can I? Like,
just avoid eye contact. Like,
he literally told me. So you gave me the out as well, Moses. The only thing is, though, people might wonder, actually, being as we've done all these events, why have we never had Alex on any of these shows? And the problem is, right, that we're very loyal to Richard, so we couldn't allow someone who'd weaponized their fan base.
I can't believe.
Dude, here's the sad thing about that. That's one of those scenarios, by the way, where if people don't know, it's not that either person is totally wrong. That's the problem. It's that the two people have just had such a bad initial set of encounters that, like, it's like, unless we had like a full-scale intervention, it's like sort of impossible to fix. So I've just been trying to like slowly meme it as though people then will think it's just a joke, even though, listen, if you know people like me and Richard, it's never a joke, is it? Like, it always starts as a true war.
No, I mean, yeah, and it's even more like interesting as well because I'm so close to Henry and Richard's so close to Henry, and so there is this kind of tie that binds us, and yet, yeah, I know that
it's all solved now. Though I hear now smoothed over. Exactly.
Absolutely, exactly. I think it's water under the bridge.
Yes, exactly. Well, far be it from me to open old wounds for the sake of
Dropping a
comedic relief. For like 5 seconds. So yeah, we started the show well. The first time I encountered the really high stream delay, because think about it, only events I've done this year is Flashpoint. I did the Blast Showdown in the spring. I didn't do the finals. And so I basically hadn't done an event before Flashpoint 2 in something like, I'm going to guess like 5 months or something. So when I came to Flashpoint 2, the first thing they told me from the production staff was like, oh, nobody is to tweet out anything live that's happening. And I was like, what? Like that? I said, are you being for real? Because that's literally like part of how you engage people in the cast. You know, people want to see like if someone does a god tier 1v4, they want to see like all the oh my god simple like whatever in the chat, you know. And then also the idea is someone who's in Twitter might be like, wow, better get in this game. Like, look, sounds super sick. So what it basically did was I was like, well, how long is the delay? And when they were telling me like it was like a 3 or 4 minute delay, I was like, so it's effectively just impossible to tweet and actually do the game then because like basically, yeah, sure, I could like pull up a stream separate to the sort of live feed I have in the green room. But if I do that,
your emotion's already over.
Exactly. What am I going to do? Just sit there with my finger over the tweet button, like, and now, I go like, it's just it loses the whole effect, doesn't it? It doesn't have the like in the moment aspects. I know that's only a minor thing to fans, but that actually did also like sap a little bit of my enjoyment of the game. I didn't feel like I could like even engage with like the people watching the game. I kind of had to pretend like I was in a black box and then come out just over on the desk. So that's even that angle just sucks a bit. What I want to pivot, yeah, go on.
It's fine, Duncan. In your case, like for Twitter, you know, just Potter can just nudge you when it's time to tweet.
There you go. All right. Right, here's one angle. One way I wanted to pivot this actually. Oh, by the way, Moses, I'll say one thing right now because people might not know this. In particular, I want to actually give mad props to Potter and to Freya because I don't even know if they really put it this way. If Jason Mozo was there, he might, as a friend, have taken these people like out like to the side and just sort of like, have you really considered what it would be like to let Thorin write the lines that you're going to say on camera about ESL Blaster? Like, listen, I know they probably just didn't think of it, Moses, because you know we sort of like got them in like it was like a fun environment, like hey, let's just be fun and edgy or whatever. But like yeah, I was thinking to myself afterwards, like holy shit, wait a minute, I did essentially just get Freya to just roast all the people she's going to work with. And Potter, you work with all the DreamHacks. Like, why are you saying that? Like, you know, like, but fair play, they did it. They were soldiers. I appreciated it.
It was a good interview with I think Vitality CEO or something where, you know, when they first signed Zywo, he asked for something like, yeah, 1,000 or 2,000 euros per month is fine for me or something,
Sure.
and they paid him like more because you know that wouldn't be fair. Even though you know, of course, they would get off cheap for an amazing talent, but you know that's not what it's all about, right? You want to be fair, and that's something we did with Brocky too, as far as I know at the beginning, right? Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, you know, you're just unknown, you're very young, you have like a trial sort of a contract, you prove yourself, you get on the same page. I don't think that's, you know, exploiting anyone. I think that's fair. The problem is, you know, if you end up paying him like 4 times less than any other player or 5 times less, when he's like up there with everyone else. Obviously, you have things, it's not all about performance on the server, brand value, right? The following, that all comes into it as well, as I'm sure like Jason is well aware now with Fallen and all of that stuff. But, you know, if someone is a huge brand, he's going to get paid more as well because he attracts people to the org and everything else.
By the way, I'm just going to do one of the weirdest call-outs of all time. Since Moses referenced that his girlfriend sometimes watches the VOD, you saw the tweet I did, Moses. I think I was doing you a favour, mate, because one thing Moses' girlfriend does is, cause from the casting world, we all make fun of each other, you know, rib each other. Here's the thing, though. We do technically have some rules, believe it or not, in green rooms. Like, for example, my phone, if I ever go through the cloud of all the old photos, I have pictures of everyone in this call just sleeping on couches, but I don't tweet them. That's the thing. I just use them for, like, the chat, you know, like the WhatsApp group we have or whatever. When your girlfriend tweeted that embarrassing picture of you, I was like, what happened to keep it in the locker room? What the hell is this? Like, why, you know, like there's a boundary here. Come on, there's a boundary here. Let's get approval before we put some pictures out. You know, let's just get some sign-offs. That's all I'm saying. I think these are all pretty good examples because if you notice, we've gone the whole spectrum here. We started with like in theory, like an extra third-party body that would, you know, officiate things. Then we've gone into like team owners being involved with journalism, basically. Then we've gone into investors being in multiple teams at the same, like it never stops. I mean, if you want to keep it going with the angle of like Jens Hilger's affiliated, because if people haven't noticed, he is some sort of Dr. Evil type character in esports, but just not really as cool. one of the angles with him was, I'll find this, right, and I'll put it in the description when I find it. But so you might remember this, Rich. When they launched Weezer, which was mainly about CSGO, it was essentially, by the way, a response to what in America they were going to do, where they were going to have PEA, which was sort of like Flashpoint 0.5, where it was going to be like a franchise league, but it would be all American orgs. And then in Europe, ESL's move was like, right, we're going to do this thing called Weezer, which we're going to pretend is like, yes, an affinity group of teams, but we also can provide arbitration for teams and players that aren't in Weezer, which, by the way, just even the idea, I almost appreciate the gall of these people, you know, when they say things like that, because it's just so mad. And basically, there was an infamous graphic someone made that was like, you know, it was like the hidden hand.
I've got it.
And you link me it, because I'll put it in the description later. And basically, what it shows is that like Ralph Reichart has like shares in SK, which he sells to the guy from ES Force, who simultaneously owns like essentially the better part of 3 different teams, including 2 CIS teams. And then he's in Weezer, which goes over to like another thing, which has Jens Hilgers involved. Like, mate, the tentacles are ridiculous on this. Like, when I say incestuous, like, if this was your family tree, you should probably all be in prison immediately. Like, you have just violated many state laws in America, I'm almost certain.
You know, I'm always rep my set, and the people who've got my back are the following people who support my videos: Matt Pugnatio, Rajcula, Jason, Jensen Goh, Tosh, Toucan, and you know, the all-time ride or die, Jerky's Minion, isn't it? Special thanks to him. Do you want to suggest a topic or a guest for my content? Want to find out who the upcoming interview subjects are? Do you want to take part in one of those long discussions with me where you set the topics? Maybe you want to ask me a question for my video AMA? Well, all of those perks and more are available where? At the Patreon link in the description box below. So put your money where your mouth is and join the Screwminati today. You dig?